Hello and welcome to Inside Modular, the podcast of commercial modular construction, brought to you by the Modular Building Institute. With a compact footprint, variety of unit options, and seamless system management, City Multi-Variable Refrigerant Flow Zoning Systems from Mitsubishi Electric Trane HVAC US are a one-stop solution for modular projects. With efficient operation and the ability to connect to commercial ventilation equipment, third-party systems, and comprehensive control solutions, City Multi-VRF can help you meet energy and performance goals on your next project. From off-site development to on-site assembly, you can trust our manufacturer-level support to guide you from system selection to design to startup, no matter the application. To learn more about our offerings, visit MitsubishiPro.com. Welcome everyone, my name is John McMullen and I'm the Marketing Director here at MBI. Today I'm talking with Jin Ouk Choi, Assistant Professor at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. Dr. Choi is here to talk about his research into the off-site construction industry and some of the best practices he's identified. Dr. Choi, welcome.
Hello, John. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you very much. I think this is my first professor on the show, so I'm excited.
I'm very excited too.
So tell me about yourself, Dr. Choi. What's your background and what led to your interest in industrialized and off-site construction?
All right. Yeah, as you introduced, I'm an assistant professor here at University of Nevada, Las Vegas. I hold master and PhD degree in civil and architectural and environmental engineering from the University of Texas at Austin in the area of construction engineering and project management. My research interests include modular construction, automation, diversity in the construction workforce, standardization strategies, and innovative technologies in the construction industry. I first learned modular construction approach in 2011 when I took a value management process course from Dr. Jin Ouk Choi while obtaining a master degree from the University of Texas at Austin as an approach to improve the constructability and efficiency of capital projects. That was the beginning of my journey on modular construction. I had no plan to continue my study at that time, but I was so fascinated with the course and the topic, and I decided to pursue a PhD under Dr. Choi and study modular construction. And during that studies, I have participated in the Construction Industry Institute's modularization research team as a graduate research assistant, assisted with the execution of a research project on research review, benchmarking analysis, case studies, interviews, and identifying the latest strategic innovations found in other industry sectors on modularization. So this experience gave me an opportunity to learn a lot about modularization from the subject matter expert. And from this experience, I saw the gap in the body of knowledge, and thus I wrote a doctoral dissertation on modularization, investigating links between modularization critical success factors and project performance in modular projects, which was, I was able to publish high quality journal papers and dissertation from my research, which led me to my current position at UNLV. Since then, I have set my long-term career goal of creating an optimal environment for broader and more effective use of modularization. And I'm currently working on it to achieve this goal and will continue to do so in my career. So my interest in modular construction started from the industrial sectors like modular plants and facilities. But if you look at my portfolio, I have already expanded my research area to both buildings and infrastructure sectors. So, and now I have published many papers on those area in modular buildings and industrial construction.
You've been very prolific, and I want to get back to those papers in just a second. But you mentioned your role at UNLV. Can you tell me some more about that? Are you actively teaching as you research, or does one take more precedence over the other?
Yes, both teaching and research are important to me. I consider them very seriously, and I actively teach as I conduct my research. My current time contribution of activities is like about teaching 35%, research 40%, and service, which includes about 25%.
Okay.
To give you an idea, I teach 3 courses per year, and the courses I teach include modular construction. And as part of my teaching duties, I have also fund and supervised students. And since 2016, I have supervised 6 graduate students and 1 graduate student. Since then, I also have secured approximately like 3.5 billion from existing funding agencies such as NSF, CI, DOE, Tesla, etc. And assistant professor rarely secures funding from these various existing funding agencies in my discipline. So I'm particularly securing a project from CII Consulting Institute as a PI was very honorable. And in terms of publication, I have published like 28 articles in referred journals. Most of them are in top journal in my area, and 21 articles in referred conference proceedings, and 24 technical reports, articles, and tools. And most recently, I have finished writing a book with my colleague on modularization on industrial projects, and I expect that book to be published this summer. Thank you.
Excellent.
And in the next 5 years, I aim to work on another book on modularization for modular buildings. That's my plan.
You're a busy guy.
Thank you.
So what goes into planning a research project? You said you publish all these papers and you spend 40% of your time doing that. How do you decide on a topic? How does that process work?
John, it's a very interesting question. My simple answer is it depends.
Okay.
The research follows the money and the industry needs, of course. My recent research proposal were developed based on the funding agencies, like call for proposals or a research topic statement. For example, like CI search for an academic who could lead the research team to develop a business case analysis model for industrial modular projects. And like Department of Energy also had recently a call on identifying innovative method, which includes modular construction method for small modular nuclear power plants, which is a good example. But there are also research projects on modular construction that I totally propose from scratch. In this case, I see the gap in the body of knowledge and the needs from the industry by reading the articles and presentation from the industry. For example, NBI's upcoming World of Modular.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to fill the gap and develop the tools and find new knowledge so that my research can help the industry. So for example, I read the article from Modular Advantage in 2021 entitled The Growth of Remote Virtual Inspections by Ryan Coker, which was very interesting. And with my colleague, the Professor Sang-Hyun Lee at the University of Michigan, we are currently developing a new method of remote virtual inspection using blockchain, LiDAR, and photogrammetry technology that can help the industry to adopt more remote virtual inspections. So as it can be a spoiler, so I will stop here, but we hope to secure a grant from funding agencies like NSF or modular companies to help us to test and validate our prototype.
So as we've said, you're a very busy guy and you've written a lot. So I was wondering if we could dive in to one of your recent papers. It was called Innovative Technologies and Management Approaches for Facility Design, Standardization, and Modularization of Capital Projects. In that paper, and I'm not going to say I read every word of it because a little bit was over my head, but I think I got the gist of it. You identified a variety of technologies and approaches that are likely to have a high impact on modular construction in the next 5 years. And I was wondering if it was okay if I asked you about a few of them.
No, not at all. Please ask.
Okay, so standardization. What exactly do you mean by this? Is this standardization in a factory or is it more than that?
It is more than that. We define standardization as development and the use of consistent design and practices to align project stakeholders, objectives, and scope to capture and optimize schedule and cost or value. The top 5 most important and impactful advantages of standardization includes design once, reuse multiple times, design and procurement in advance, accelerate response to schedule needs, learning curve benefits in fabrication, and learning curve benefits in module installation and site construction. So I can talk about standardization for a whole day. I have conducted many studies on this topic, including like economics, critical success factors, business model, etc. However, as today's topic is modular construction, I will save it for future interviews.
Well, that's all right. That's all right. So the next one on my list was mobile user interface devices. Can you give me some examples of the devices you're talking about, and how do they help?
Yeah, many of the contractors are already using such device for efficiency improvement. Like mobile user interface devices include like mobile phones, like laptops, tablets that communicate as a wireless system. And these devices can display required information in appropriate format as visual reference. In particular, contractors rate them high. So I already know that. We already use them often these days.
Gotcha. Okay. Real-time field reporting. What's the advantage of this?
Oh yes, real-time field reporting model uses a real-time field reporting device criteria sheets, which include devices used, component used, detail scores, and relevant notes. And this is definitely beneficial for updating, revising, and managing changes. And performance can be measured, monitored, and reported against the baseline schedule in real time. And it helps to mitigate the risk and delay. So definitely there is a great advantage of using the real-time field reporting.
Okay. Last one on my list, I get, but I'm hoping to get your take on it. It's stakeholder engagement and alignment. And we've had several guests on here talking about how important that is, but I was wondering if I could get your academic take on the importance of that.
Oh, yes. Given any organizational or contractual discontinuities at a transition from one phase to another results in lack of continuity in the area of strategic and planning and stakeholder engagement and risk management, among other areas. And special efforts needed to ensure continuity from one phase to the next, particularly with respect to all module decisions taken. And to achieve the stakeholders' engagement and alignment, I'd like to highlight the importance of the owner's role. The owner should get module and construction expert involved to help define drivers and ensure alignment. And the owner should ensure continuity from one phase to the next and from one contractor to the next. No other entity can play that critical role, and the owner will be effective in this role only if the owner is knowledgeable about all the progress achieved and critical decisions taken to take. So effective alignment with all key stakeholders and timely sign off on scoping documents will help the timely design freeze, which is one of the critical success factors for modularization.
And so you mentioned critical success factors. There we go. I wanted to ask you about that with my next question. What critical success factors should the industry be paying attention to?
Yeah, there are many critical success factors for modular construction that the industry should be paying attention to, such as understanding modular envelope limitations, alignment on drivers, timely design freeze, module fabricator and or contractors' leaderships and capabilities, heavy lift and site transport capabilities, vendor involvement, and others.
Have you had any of your offsite research findings? Have any of the findings that you've had surprised you? And can you tell me about any unexpected findings you may have had?
There are many interesting findings. Among many, I'd like to pick how the experienced leading modular companies consider improved predictability or surety or reliability or less variety. There are many different words of that benefit. From my case studies and interviews, the experience leading companies not only implement more critical success factors and innovative technologies, but they also weigh more on modular construction's advantage on improved predictability during their business case analysis. So even after considering the schedule benefits of modular construction, these leading companies experienced improved predictability for modular projects compared to traditional stick-built projects. So I see that some more projects that get delayed in these days, but modular construction are still a way more reliable and predictable, not only on schedule, but also on quality, cost, and safety.
Looking back on the research you've done and looking ahead to some of your upcoming projects, you listed a few at the top of the episode. What fascinates you still about the offsite industry?
Yeah, I would say there's a great opportunity to grow in the market and the potential to be far more productive. And for me as a researcher, that means also there are lots of rooms to conduct more research. Most of the current modular factories in the US are limited to static. The module is just manufactured in one position, and all the materials and personnel are brought into the module, or the semi-automated line production. So I strongly believe the offsite industry needs to ship more volumetric modular and implement industrialized construction method with automation to meet the growing demand and enhance efficiency. As industrial robots are getting cheaper every year, and the capital investment costs to set modular factories will become lower, and the economic of scales will be accomplished, which will lead to not only modular factories higher profit margins, but also cheaper total install costs. So there are so many new technologies, processes, and a method to develop and test in terms of pushing the envelope in automation that fascinates me about the offsite construction, offsite industry. And I look forward to working with modular companies in the future.
This sort of segue into my next question. Given all the data that you've collected and reviewed, what's the biggest thing modular manufacturers and builders need to know to be successful? What's the big takeaway so far?
Yeah, the understanding the differences in planning and execution for modular construction compared to the traditional stick-built approach is the biggest success factor. It sounds simple and obvious, but there are so many things that needs to be planned and executed differently, and many failed modular projects show that they have failed to execute differently or implement the critical success factors that I have mentioned. So if I may, I would like to also add one more. The industry lacks innovation and industry academia collaboration, which is also I think one of the factor we need. There are many new innovative technologies such as AI, blockchain, digital twins, virtual inspection that just mentioned before, and approaches like integrated project delivery, advanced work packaging, or globalization, etc. Evolving that can help the modular construction industry. But I don't see that many studies or efforts. So I hope modular manufacturers and builders put more efforts, which means like invest more money and staff to enhance the business effectiveness and sustainability of the modular projects.
Well, I would love to talk to you at some other date. Maybe we can find a quiet corner at World of Modular, but how blockchain can be used to further modular construction, I think that would be fascinating to hear more about. And speaking of World of Modular, you're going to be speaking there in April, which I'm very excited about. Can you tell me a little bit about your presentation and what can attendees hope to learn?
Yes, in my presentation at the upcoming World of Modular, I will present the results I obtained from our UNLV's own solar decathlon project named Mojave Bloom, which is a net zero modular house, which won third place overall in the Department of Energy Solar Decathlon Design Build competition in 2021. And my presentation will focus on the results I have obtained on the innovative technology and approaches, and will present some success and the failures. In particular, the companies barely share their failures, but only highlights their success stories, right?
Yeah.
But I can. And as this was a student project, we had numerous failures and lessons that many new or unexperienced modular companies might experience. So these stories will entertain the participants. So please come and join my presentation.
Excellent. I think the most learning comes through failure. At least that's what I've been told. So I'm excited to see your presentation. Thanks for coming, and thanks for joining me here today on Inside Modular. I really appreciate your time, Dr. Choi.
Thank you, John. Much appreciated.
My name is John McMullen, and this has been another episode of Inside Modular, the podcast of commercial modular construction. Until next time.